Nuzlocke rules can vary a lot depending on the player's preferences, but there's 2 rules that are pretty much universal. You can only catch the first Pokemon you find on each route, and if a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead and can't be used for the rest of the run. Additionally, I also play with species clause, meaning I'll never use the same Pokemon twice for my team, and I can reroll my encounters accordingly. The game starts out as usual by asking me if I'm a boy or a girl. That's an excellent question. And the answer is... I'm clearly a girl. I settle on the girl character because she's cuter. I enter my name, Teddy, which results in this cute little rhyme. Am I ready? Yeah, I was born ready. I head over to the lab to get myself a Pokemon, and I choose Cyndaquil, who is probably totally stoked to be going on this adventure with me. I name him Cinnamon. Cinnamon is adamant, which means his attack is boosted and his special attack is decreased. Or, in layman's terms, he's all brawn and no brain. This isn't great since Typhlosion's stats lean slightly towards special, but it could be worse. Cinnamon and I start our trek to Mr. Pokemon's house to retrieve the egg that Elm wants to study, and we get our very first encounter as a team. It's a Hoot-Hoot. We can't catch it, so Cinnamon beats the shit out of it and we continue on our merry way. In Cherry Grove City, we get our running shoes and can finally move a bit quicker. Running through the grass on Route 30 for our second uncatchable encounter, we find another Hoot-Hoot who meets the same fate as the first. On our way back with the egg in tow and our shiny new Pokedex, we meet our rival for the first time and he challenges us to a battle. He has a Totodile, which gets absolutely wrecked by my spicy hog. I snitch on him to the police and we decide that his name is Sugar. Heading back up the way we came, Cinnamon and I have our first official non-rival battle, which is uneventful. We completely decimate this kid's Rattata, and then we spit in his face when he asks for our phone number. Ethan shows us how to catch Pokemon in a tutorial that I sped through and didn't record, and now we're able to catch our very first team members. On Route 31, we catch a Hoot-Hoot and name him Pepper. I also decide to go for our Dark Cave encounter, which is a Geodude who I catch and name Clove. Heading into Violet City, my trio and I tackle Sprout Tower. We encounter a Ghastly right off the bat, but I decide not to catch him because I don't want to be stuck with a Haunter that I can't evolve. I want to get Clove up to level 12 so she can learn Rock Throw, which would be really helpful with Faulkner coming up, so she fronts the gang for the time being. Nothing of note happens on the climb, and we challenge the big cheese of Sprout Tower, Elder Lee. He goes down easy, and thanks to him, Clove learns Rock Throw and Cinnamon evolves into Quilava. Now, it's time for Faulkner. I do some switch training with the gym trainers to get some EXP on Pepper, who is woefully behind his siblings in level, and then we take on the big man himself. He leads with Spearow, and I lead with Pepper and switch in Clove. Clove takes out the Pidgey with 1 Rock Throw, and I send in Pepper into his Pidgeotto for that sweet EXP. Clove takes over again, eats a crit, and loses a bit of HP to a couple of Gusts before missing her Rock Throw twice in a row. The second Gust knocks her into the yellow, and out of an abundance of caution, I switch in Cinnamon to finish the job his sister started. With that, we have our first gym badge. Heading down south to Route 32, we catch an Ekans on the way to Union Cave and name her Gemton, which is actually Snake backwards. Fun fact. We make our way through the route, battling some trainers as we go. The old fishermen on the dock remind me that my team currently has a pretty big weak spot to water types, and Gemton almost bites it to a mud shot. We head into Union Cave and encounter a Rattata, who I decide not to catch and kill instead. We end up in quite a stressful battle with Gemton against an Onyx, who traps her with Wrap and takes her all the way down to 1 HP before she coils around victory. This battle gave me a lot of respect for my little snake. She's a fighter. At the opposite end of Union Cave on Route 33, we encounter a Zubat, who I catch and name Allspark. My team and I witness an assault at the entrance to Azalea Town, but we ignore it for now to snag an encounter in Elex Forest. We grab Oddish, who I name Turmeric, and decide to do some charity work for the locals by ruining the entire career of Proton and his grunts. Kurt's broken back can wait, because we have some more important spines to snap down here. The grunts go down without any issue, and soon it's time to take on Proton. He leads Zubat and I lead with Clove. Zubat dies to a single Rock Throw from Clove, and then he sends out Coughing, to which I send in Cinnamon. I hit him with a couple of smoke screens, which ironically cause both of his smoke screens to miss as well, and he poisons me with poison gas, but it's all for naught at this point, because he's dead from my next Ember. Proton runs away crying and pissing his pants, and then it's time to fight Bugsy. I lead with Pepper and he leads with Scyther. I go for a Peck, and he goes for a crit quick attack, immediately one-shotting Pepper. He died on impact. The doctor said he didn't even feel a thing. It's time for Cinnamon to avenge his fallen brother. Scyther's quick attack knocks him into the yellow, but Cinnamon is too heartbroken to lose and pulls a crit Ember out of his back pocket to put Scyther in the ground. Bugsy's remaining 2 Pokemon each die to an Ember as well, and then we have our second gym badge. With my heart only a little bit shattered, I release Pepper. Rest well, Pepper. On our way back to Ilex Forest to wrangle some ducks, we're stopped by Sugar in a battle that I honestly forgot about entirely. He leads Ghastly and I lead Allspice, who I switch into Clove and take out with a rock throw after I take a bit of damage from Kurt. I switch out to dodge the curse, and Gemton faces Croconaw. My idea here was to go for the poison on Poison Sting, but Gemton gets one-shotted to a water gun. This one hurt. I'm a little bit worried about this Croconaw now, since Turmeric is still too weak and my team has a big blind spot to water types. Cinnamon is my most powerful team member, so I set aside the type disadvantage and send him in. It's once again his job to avenge a fallen comrade. I hit Croconaw with a couple of smoke screens and think about switching in Turmeric, but he's still a baby. I start to spam tackles and quick attacks as Croconaw uses some scary faces. Some Nuzlocke rules say no items in battle, but those aren't the rules that I'm playing by, so I use a super potion on Cinnamon. I think about healing Clove, but instead brute force the victory with Cinnamon. Zubat is a no-brainer with Clove, and Sugar runs away having taken out my sweet, sweet little Gemton. Godspeed, Gemton. While chasing around some Farfetch'd, my egg hatches and I name him Nutmeg, after my late snake. I won't be using him, but it's the thought that counts. I head out onto Route 34 and encounter a Drowsy, who I accidentally kill with a crit quick attack. This kinda sucks, since I want all the help I can going into Whitney's Miltank, but I decide to just go for my Route 35 and 36 encounters early and train them up to snuff. The trainers on Route 34 go down without much hassle, and we head straight to Route 35 from Goldenrod, catching a Drowsy that we name Star Anise. On Route 36, we catch a Nidoran male, who we name Cardamom. I spend a while off-screen grinding up the levels on my team. I leave Allspice and Star Anise at the daycare, and run around leveling up Cardamom and Clove in the tall grass. Clove reaches level 25 and evolves into Graveler, and Cardamom reaches level 16 and evolves into Nidorino. After I pick up Allspice and Star Anise from the daycare, I remember about the guy in the department store who trades a Machop for a Drowsy. I say goodbye to Star Anise just in case I need a fighting type in the back for Miltank, and I head into Whitney's gym, as ready as I'll ever be. After taking care of her little lackeys, I take on Whitney. She leads Clefairy and I lead Cardamom. I leer Clefairy and she goes for a metronome arm thrust, which just tickles us. Clefairy activates Poison Point and is dead the next turn to a double kick. Miltank is annoying as usual, but Cardamom and Clove team up to take her out. This was definitely an easier battle than I remembered. After receiving the squirt bottle, we head north to Ecruteak. On the way, we catch a Pidgey and name him Cumin. After meeting Bill, we do a quick pit stop back in Goldenrod to pick up our Eevee, who we name Paprika. Up next is the Burn Tower, where we fight Sugar. He leads Ghastly and I lead Paprika for the EXP. Allspice gets some damage off on Ghastly with an Astonish before Sugar switches in his Magnemite. Magnemite bites it to a Flame Wheel and then in comes Croconaw. I make the mistake of believing that Turmeric can handle him, and we lose our tiny Weedleaf. Fly high, Turmeric. Fly high. I'm once again stuck between a rock and a hard place with Croconaw, but he eventually goes down to Cardamom. Zubat dies another death to Clove, and Allspice finishes the job he started with Ghastly. We send Turmeric off into the void, and then it's time to battle Morty. I pretty much exclusively wipe the gym trainers with Allspice, who evolves into a respectable Golbat right in the nick of time. I'm depending on his Bite and Astonish to take out Morty's ghosts, because I don't have much else. Morty leads Ghastly, and I lead Allspice, who has been to this rodeo before. Yee-haw! He takes it down with one chomp, and in comes Haunter. I go for the all-out offensive, and it pays off, with Haunter going down to a single bite as well. I'm a bit more cautious with Gengar, because I know his Shadow Ball can really pack a Shadow Punch. I confuse it, and by some stroke of luck get 2 confused turns and take out the Gengar without any damage to myself. Haunter goes out to a crit bite, and we have ourselves Morty's badge. At the dance hall, we fight off a heckler and everyone claps. Some old man even gives us the TM for Surf. On Route 38, our first encounter is Raikou. Just kidding. It's Eradicate, who we catch and name Ginger. Baobus stops us and gives us his Safari Zone spiel, and then we catch a Magnemite who we name Fenugreek. Fenugreek will hopefully be the solution to our water-type woes. After the lighthouse, which I forgot to record, I realize that I don't have a Pokemon who can learn Surf. I get the fishing rod and fish up a Krabby who I name Saffron. My whole team and I pile on top of Saffron and we make our way to Cyanwood City. But unfortunately, we lose Cardamom on the way. I can't even explain this. I'm just bad at playing Pokemon. We get the secret potion and end up in a battle with Eusine. Disaster strikes again this battle, and I lose Clove to a curse/mean-look wombo combo. After Ampharos drinks up the potion, Baobab gives us a call to let us know that the Safari Zone is open. I decide to head there for some levels and an encounter or two, but while I'm not recording, we lose both Ginger and Saffron to the trainers on the mountain range. I box and release Ginger, but Saffron's corpse has to stay afloat to get us back from Cyanwood, so I hold on to him for now. My first encounter in the Safari Zone is a Pidgey, which is just my luck. I don't catch it, but on the way back, I encounter a Farfetch'd who I name Rosemary. Before challenging Jasmine, I need to level up Cinnamon. He's my best chance against Steelix. I spend ages leveling him up, but I stop just shy of evolving him because, to be honest, I was really f***ing bored. Jasmine leads Magnemite and I lead Cinnamon. Magnemite dies to a single Lava Plume and then Steelix comes out. A Lava Plume gets him down into the low yellow, which activates his Citrus Berry. It wasn't enough though, since another Lava Plume takes care of him. A third Lava Plume takes out Jasmine's last Magnemite and we reign victorious. This was a really easy battle, but I don't think it would have been easy if Cinnamon wasn't such a powerhouse. My team and I pile onto Saffron's dead body and head back to Cyanwood where we challenge Chuck. Chuck leads Primeape and I lead Allspice, since fighting types hate birds. I start with a Confuse Ray to give myself a chance to avoid damage, and then I start using Air Cutter. Allspice loses a not insignificant chunk of EXP to a Rock Slide, but Primeape goes out to another Air Cutter. I send in Rosemary on Poliwhirl so that I can have a chance to heal Allspice, and she dies to a Focus Punch. Again, this is probably something I could have avoided if I was better at playing Pokemon. I defeat Poliwrath with the same Confuse/Air Cutter strategy, and Chuck is dead meat. I guess that sacrificing Rosemary for him made Allspice decide that we were friends after all, and he evolves into his final form, Crobat. Some lady outside the gym gives me the HM for Fly, and I slap it on Allspice. After we release Rosemary, Allspice carries us all back to Ecruteak so we can head east to Route 42. Outside Mount Mortar, we get the HM for Strength. I end up teaching it to Cinnamon. While fighting a trainer in Mount Mortar, he evolves into Typhlosion. I guess he really needed that extra strength. Once we're in Mahogany Town, I heal my team and head straight north to the lake. We encounter a Flaffy on the way, who I catch and name Steak Spice. We make quick work of the shiny Gyarados, and then we have to accompany Lance in a mission against Team Rocket. We defeat Petrel, chases Murkrow around the basement, and then ruin Ariana in a double battle with Lance. After all that's taken care of, it's time to tackle the Ice-type gym. Oh no. However will I defeat an Ice-type gym? Price leads Seal and I lead Steak Spice. I whittle his health down with Thunder Shocks while getting chip damage from Hail. Price switches in Piloswine, which renders Steak Spice completely obsolete. I swap her with Cinnamon and destroy the swine with a Lava Plume. Dugong is next, and after thinking for a moment about what I should do, I swap in Allspice and hit it with a Confuse. It hurts itself, and we knock its health down to Hyper Potion range. Steak Spice comes out to do some damage and hopefully get some EXP, but she immediately bites it to an Aurora Beam. And then there were 3. Cinnamon comes out and Lava Plumes the Dugong into submission, taking it out with a crit. Seal returns to the ring and falls asleep. Paprika lowers his defense with a Tail Whip, and Allspice takes him out with a couple of well-placed bites. I'm upset about losing Steak Spice, but the show must go on. After the battle with Price, Professor Elm gives us a call and lets us know that we have more Team Rocket shenanigans to deal with. While dealing with them, Paprika evolves into Espeon. Sugar once again refuses to read the room and interrupts us while we're trying to save the world as we know it for another battle. Nothing of note really happens during it, so I won't go in depth. We battle Archer and Cinnamon doesn't even break a sweat. There's only one gym badge left for us now, and it's at the other end of Ice Path. Our first encounter there is a Swinub, which I'm actually pretty stoked about. Both Claire and Lance, who we still have yet to battle, are weak to Ice types, so I was really counting on a decent encounter here. If I had gotten a Delibird or something, that would probably be grounds for a reset. I name him Fennel. Before leaving, we pick up the HM for Waterfall and the Never Melt Ice. Once we're in Blackthorn City, I take a picture with my family and catch a weird metal bird who I name Coriander. And then I begin the long and arduous task of raising Little Fennel into Big Fennel. This takes 3 real-time hours. Don't ever say that I didn't put any work into this. Anyways, now that our little boy is a big boy, it's time to take on Claire. She leads Gyarados and I lead Allspice. I use Confuse Ray, but it doesn't do anything the first turn and Allspice eats a Dragon Rage. I begin a pattern of healing, confusing, and using Fly until eventually Gyarados gives in and Allspice wins. I send in Fennel on Dragonair and take it out with 2 ice shards, but not before taking a big chunk of damage to a fire blast. Paprika takes on Kingdra next, and we get a little bit of damage off with Swift before switching back into Allspice. We resume our pattern of healing, confusing, and using Fly, and at one point we live a hit with only 3 HP, but Kingdra eventually perishes to a Poison Fang-induced poison. In an attempt to get a little bit of damage off on Dragonair before Fennel came in, I sacrifice Coriander. Fennel pulls off another 2-hit KO with Ice Shard, and the badge is ours. Or it would be, if Claire wasn't such a bad loser. She refuses to give us our badge until we get approved by some old guy in an underground cave. We get our approval, surprising nobody but Claire, and now the badge is really ours. The way it should have been from the beginning. With Claire seething and coping, it's time to take on Victory Road. Just kidding, we have to encounter Lugia first. Frankly, I have no interest in this plot point right now, so I Master Ball it and box it right away. Now it's really time to take on Victory Road in the Elite Four. On the way, we get 2 new encounters who end up being a Quagsire who we name Cayenne and a Ponyta who we name Chili Paste. Victory Road is uneventful. Right before we exit, we encounter Sugar for our last rival battle. It's a little emotional. I won't go into great detail over how it went, since we're heading into 5 straight battles of that, but I shed a sentimental tear, thinking we'd never have to deal with his stupid f***ing fur alligator ever again. I spend a pretty substantial amount of time off-screen level grinding. I evolve Chili Paste into Rapidash, teach a more reliable Ice-type move to Fennel, and pack a few extra levels on the rest of my party to give us the best shot at victory. The final team we have heading into the Elite Four is as follows. Fennel, my level 43 Mamoswine, Cayenne, my level 36 Quagsire, Paprika, my level 43 Espeon, Allspice, my level 41 Crobat, Cinnamon, my level 45 Typhlosion, and Chili Paste, my level 41 Rapidash. Alright, it's now or never. Our first battle is with Will, who specializes in Psychic types. His leading Pokemon Xatu gets OHKO'd to an Ice Fang, and then I switch in Allspice to deal with Slowbro. I don't have any good super effective options against her, so I split the work between Allspice and Paprika for the win. Fennel breaks through Confusion twice to knock out Will's second Xatu with 2 Ice Fangs, and I send out Cinnamon to deal with Jinx and Exeggutor. We put Will behind us and head forward to Koga, who specializes in poison types. Allspice takes out Koga's leading Pokemon Ariados with a handful of flies, only taking a small chunk of damage in the process. Cinnamon one-shots Venomoth and Fortress, and Fennel takes out Muck with 2 Earthquakes. Crobat comes in and then goes out just as fast thanks to Fennel's Ice Fang. So far, we have no losses. I'm pretty optimistic about this. Bruno is next, who specializes in fighting types. I'm not too worried about him, since I have Paprika and Allspice behind me. Cayenne pulls through to deal with Bruno's Onix, who he has no good reason to have, and Paprika and Allspice take care of the rest up until Machamp. Machamp has Rock Slide, which I didn't know at the time, and it cost me the life of Allspice. It always hurts a little more to lose a Pokemon who evolves through friendship, but this is the final countdown. Last but not least of the Elite Four is Karen, who specializes in Dark types. I don't have any counters for Dark types, but thankfully a lot of her team is either Dual type or not Dark type at all. Her Umbreon is a bit difficult being Mono-Dark, but Chili Paste incinerates him and then it's time to take on Houndoom with Cayenne. Karen fakes us out and switches into Vileplume, and then does it again to switch back into Houndoom. With a great deal of healing, Cinnamon takes out Houndoom, and then I let Fennel deal with Murkrow. Cinnamon comes in to take care of what remains of Vileplume, and then it's time to deal with Gengar. Gengar is always a threat, but I have a secret weapon. I taught Cinnamon Shadow Claw for this exact purpose. Karen goes down, and this means we're headed into Lance with a team of 5. Not bad. I'm still feeling optimistic. Lance leads Gyarados, and I use Paprika to lower its accuracy as much as I can before chipping away some damage. I have to heal a lot during this battle. Paprika eventually takes out Gyarados after chugging what I'm sure was his entire body weight in potions. Aerodactyl doesn't stand a chance against Fennel, and in theory, Cayenne should be great against Charizard, but he's just a bit too slow and ends up paying for it with his life. Our own Fire Beast ends up taking care of Charizard with Rollout. Dragonite comes in, and it's once again Fennel's time to shine. Just kidding, Fennel dies right away to a Dragon Rush, which broke my heart. That's 3 hours of my life that just died in front of me. I'm starting to get a bit nervous now. I send out Chili Paste, who does her best, and burns Dragonite before dying as well. The burn ends up taking it out, so I guess we can credit Chili Paste for this one beyond the grave. Paprika dies to an Outrage without even having a chance to lend a paw. This is the point where I started to doubt whether or not I was going to lose this Nuzlocke. I started healing every turn, just waiting for Dragonite to finally lose a turn to Confusion from all the Outrages. Eventually, I get tired of stalling and decide that if Cinnamon is going to die, he should die fighting. I lock myself into Rollout, and I'm shocked when Dragonite finally loses a turn to Confusion. If this didn't happen, I would have died just then. We're not out of the woods yet, though. And I steel myself to lose Cinnamon to Lance's next Dragonite. But that doesn't happen. By some divine miracle, that doesn't happen. Cinnamon wins. We're the new champions of the Johto Pokemon League. It cost us everyone but Cinnamon. In some bizarre way, this is a full circle. We started with him, and we ended with him. Our bond is unbreakable. We mourn the loss of our team together. His flames evaporate the tears from my cheeks. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like or subscribe. If you didn't, keep it to yourself.